I am a coach and an alum of Girls on the Run. Kids today carry a lot of stress, from school pressure to social isolation to overuse of devices. We create a space where girls can connect, build confidence, and learn skills like managing emotions, setting goals, and speaking up. Each child's experience is different, and families need support. I'm proud to be part of a comprehensive solution to youth mental health. Get involved today at EmpowerOurFutureCoalition.com.
Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop, and honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee, so the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit Depop.com. Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop, and honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee, so the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit Depop.com.
I am a coach and an alum of Girls on the Run. Kids today carry a lot of stress, from school pressure to social isolation to overuse of devices. We create a space where girls can connect, build confidence, and learn skills like managing emotions, setting goals, and speaking up. Each child's experience is different, and families need support. I'm proud to be part of a comprehensive solution to youth mental health. Get involved today at EmpowerOurFutureCoalition.com.
Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop, and honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee, so the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit Depop.com.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Whispering Woods After Dark. I've got another one of these stories today. I think they're great, and I hope everybody is enjoying them. So I've done these two for the time being, but I will do some more in the future because I just think they're really great. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the story? The wooden back door creaks open into the night. You step out, candle in one hand, a crucifix in the other. Somewhere beyond the fence, an old scarecrow stands guard in the moonlight. Or at least you think it's just a scarecrow. You take a shaky breath and face your dark house. It's time. But who will scare the crows away? For a moment there's nothing but the thump of your heartbeat. Then behind you, a hushed whisper, "It's not your biggest problem." The candlelight jumps as your hand shakes. You dare not turn around to see who or what spoke. You clutch the crucifix to your chest and bolt for the door. The game has begun. And now something unspeakable is awake in the fields, waiting. The man in the field ritual is often compared to other notorious dangerous games like the Midnight Man or one-man hide and seek. It's part of the modern pantheon of occult challenges, usually with the same disclaimer: play at your own risk. The man in the field stands out because if you believe the law, completing it successfully doesn't just let you survive the night, it rewards you. In theory, you win a year of guaranteed good fortune and safety, in exchange for facing a presence of pure nightmare. High risk, high reward. No wonder some people can't resist the temptation. Man in the Fields ritual is essentially a supernatural high-stakes game of close all the doors before the monster gets you. According to legend, the ritual must be performed at your home. Ideally, a secluded house with a backyard or a field beyond it. You'll be the only player, and you'll need a few specific items: a candle or a lantern, no electric lights, those reportedly get mysteriously snuffed out, an analog watch or clock to keep time, and a crucifix for protection. Crucially, you also need one safe room in your house, a single door room, preferably empty, where you can hide if things go wrong. If you perform everything correctly, the reward is said to be 1 full year of safety from harm. The catch: the slightest mistake could cost you far more than the game is worth. Players are warned that failure may result in a face-to-face meeting with the man in the fields. And if that happens, well, let's just say he'll take something from you that you can't get ahead without. Now we'll break down the ritual steps as it's described online. Begin after sunset, but before midnight. Most sources suggest starting around 9 p.m. for the best chance of success. Any earlier, and it won't work. Any later, and you'll run out of time. Ensure no other people are in the house or yard. You must be completely alone. Gather your supplies, the candle or oil lamp, matches or lighter, your crucifix, and the clock or watch. Your phone won't help you here. Electronics supposedly fail during the ritual. Identify your intended safe room. Remember, it needs to have only one door and ideally a lock. Make sure that room's door can close properly. You'll be using it later if things go wrong. Just after dusk, when the world is in that quiet lull, light your candle or lantern. Go out into your back garden alone. Position yourself facing the house. Your back should be to the dark back garden or field behind you. This feels counterintuitive, but that's part of the challenge. You're offering an invitation to whatever dwells out there. Now you must repeat a single phrase 7 times. But who will scare the crows away? Say it quietly, almost a whisper. Tradition says it has to be exactly 7 repetitions. No more, no less. It sounds like a riddle or a line from an old folk tale. But those words are the key to summoning the entity. If you've done it right, On the 7th time, you'll get a response. If you hear nothing about the ritual, that means the summoning has failed. Maybe you started at the wrong time, or maybe something's protecting you from whatever prowls the field. In any case, do not turn around or try again that night. Just calmly but quickly head back inside, leave the house entirely, and don't come back until after 6 a.m. The instructions say there are no known consequences to a failed attempt as long as you don't linger, but they strongly recommend vacating the premises just in case. If you do hear a reply, it might manifest as a disembodied voice right behind you, or even a voice that speaks inside your head. The voice will say, "That's not your biggest problem." Imagine hearing that whispered into the night when you thought you were alone. This cryptic sentence is your one and only confirmation that the summoning has succeeded. At this point, do not turn around to look. The man in the fields is now in play, though not directly behind you. Not yet. According to those who've described the ritual, the voice is a warning and a harbinger of what's to come. He's basically telling you, forget the crows. You've got bigger things to worry about now. If you hear these words, you must immediately return to your house, go back inside, and shut the door behind you, without glancing back at the garden. Sealing your safe room. Now the real game begins. The moment you're inside, the entire house is no longer the way you left it. Every door, every cabinet, every window, every container that can open will be standing open. Drawers are slid out, cupboards ajar. Even boxes and backpacks dumped out with their lids flung wide. If you think about all the things in a home that have hinges or zips or lids, the sheer number is unsettling. This sudden disarray isn't random. It's the first test. You'll soon have to close all of them again. But before you do anything else, head straight to your chosen safe room with your crucifix in your hand. Once in that room, do the following immediately. Close every open object in the safe room. If a desk drawer is open or a closet door ajar, shut it. Double check even unlikely things, a book left open, a suitcase unlatched. Everything must be closed. This room is your lifeline. Any opening here is a potential entry point for him. The law stresses that if the man in the fields gets into your safe room, you are doomed. Now place the crucifix somewhere in the safe room. Some say to hang it on the door handle or just hold it. But the common instruction is to leave the crucifix in the room, as if marking it as protected ground. The crucifix's presence is supposed to help bar the entity from entering, but only if you've closed everything properly. Think of it like setting up your base. Once your safe room is secure, take your candle or lantern and step back out into your house to face the task at hand. From this point on, you cannot leave the house until the ritual is over. Also, make sure you have your watch on. You'll be racing the clock. The main objective, close everything. Your goal now is simple in description and maddening in execution. Go through the entire house and close every single open thing before the clock strikes midnight. You have until 12 a.m. sharp, not a second later. If you begin around 11 p.m, that gives you roughly an hour. If you started earlier, you might have more time, but remember starting too early tends to fail. As you move from room to room, candle flickering, you'll likely feel an oppressive silence. The only sounds might be your own breathing and footsteps echoing in the dark. One by one, you must shut every door, window, cabinet, drawer, box, bag. Everything that's open. It sounds tedious, maybe even easy. Imagine doing this while aware that something else is in the house with you, watching. Because according to the ritual, as soon as you re-enter your home, you're not alone. People who claim to have attempted this describe a mounting sense of dread as they hurry through the house. Many report an almost palpable presence. You might catch movement out of the corner of your eye. And indeed, the ritual says you will. As you're frantically closing doors and latching windows, you may begin to notice a figure in your peripheral vision, trailing just at the edges of your sight. If you catch a glimpse, he looks like a man in simple farmer's clothes with the skin colour of ash. He doesn't speak. He doesn't grab you. He just follows you silently from room to room, observing as you work. It's said this figure is not the man in the fields himself, but an intermediary, a herald or referee, sent to audit your progress. The instructions are very clear on this point. Do not look at him directly. And don't bother trying to interact. He's not there to hurt you. In fact, you're told not to fear the Ashen Man at all. There is one absolute rule during this frantic cleanup. Do not under any circumstances look out into your back garden or field. This cannot be emphasized enough. As you move around your home, no matter what you think you hear outside, a tap on the window, a rustling, maybe a whisper, don't peek out. The second you gaze into that dark garden, it's game over. Because if you do look, you'll spot something that will make your heart stop. Out in the field, where there was nothing moments ago, you'll see a scarecrow staked in the soil that wasn't there before. A scarecrow, the ritual says, with limbs far too long to be human, skin pale and drawn tight over lanky arms and legs. Atop its shoulders sits a grotesque facsimile of a head, not a pumpkin or straw-stuffed sack like a normal scarecrow. The cow skull, empty eye sockets staring back at you. You'll notice in that petrifying instant that the scarecrow-like figure is missing its own human head. And that's when it will notice you. By giving it your gaze, you've alerted the entity you were trying to avoid. You've just seen the man in the fields, and the moment he knows you see him, he'll start to move. The scarecrow deity that hung limp on the post will climb down, unnaturally fast, and start sprinting straight toward the house, toward you. If you do make the mistake of looking outside, the ritual changes drastically. It becomes a race for survival. Drop whatever task you are doing and run for your safe room immediately. You will likely have at most 60 seconds before the man in the field reaches you. Don't waste a second of it. Sprint to the safe room, get inside and slam the door shut behind you. Lock it if there's a lock. Inside the safe room, there are two critical things to do in those final moments. Grab your crucifix. Hopefully you left it there as instructed. And double check that absolutely nothing in the safe room is open. Remember, if even a tiny drawer or window in that room is open, then sadly your sanctuary isn't safe at all. In ritual law, an open object in the safe room breaks the protective seal. and the man in the fields will be able to enter instantly. And if he gets in, that's the end for you. There's no bargaining and no second chances. He will behead you on the spot, taking your head to complete his scarecrow-like form. Assuming you did secure the room in time, you now have to endure hours trapped inside as this entity tries to get you. People who imagine this scenario describe hearing scratches, clawing, and horrific screeches on the other side of the door. He will pound on the walls, perhaps even speak to you in that awful whisper, making threats or offering false promises of mercy if you just open up. You must not listen, no matter what he says. Do not open that door before 6 a.m. It's said that he cannot break the door down. He can only tempt or scare you into opening it. So grit your teeth, clutch your crucifix, and hold out until morning. It will be the longest, most terror-filled night of your life. But if you manage not to crack, the man in the fields will vanish at dawn's first light. At that point, the ritual ends. You'll have survived, but there is a cruel catch. Even though you lived to see morning, you lost the game by looking at him, so you don't get any of the promised rewards. If you don't see him, let's rewind to the scenario where you obeyed the cardinal rule. You never looked outside. You've focused, ignored any strange noises from the field, and managed to shut every door, drawer and window in your house for the stroke of midnight. If you pull that off, congratulations. You've done what few dare to do. With every latch clicked and every gap sealed, you can return to your safe room one last time. The instructions then say to perform one final act. Go to bed and close your eyes. Yes, after all that adrenaline, you're supposed to lie down in the safe room or wherever you choose to sleep, and force yourself to sleep in total darkness. The key is that you must not open your eyes at all until morning. Not even once. Perhaps this is to avoid glimpsing the entity at the last moment. Or maybe it's a final test of trust. The law isn't clear on why. Only that even after everything is done, keeping your eyes shut is absolutely mandatory to seal your victory. If you can fall asleep, or at least last the night with eyes closed, dawn will eventually break. And when you awake in the morning, if all went well, you'll find that the house is just as you left it. Closed up and ordinary. No ashen man in the corners, no scarecrow in the garden. You've won. The man in the field has spared you, and in fact, he will now bless you for a time. According to the legend, surviving the ritual without ever seeing the entity earned you a reward that lasts 1 full year from that date. During that year, you are promised supernaturally heightened good fortune and protection in one or more aspects of your life, depending on how early in the evening you began the ritual. This is the incentive that drives people to consider playing in the first place. If you started around 3 hours before midnight, your safety will be purely physical for the next year. You won't fall ill or suffer any injury. If you started 2 hours before midnight, you get physical safety and financial prosperity. Not only will you stay healthy, but money will never be a problem for that year. If you started 1 hour before midnight and still managed to finish, which is considered nearly impossible, your safety becomes total. For 1 year, nothing you do will cause negative consequences for you. You'll have essentially absolute luck. And with that, the ritual concludes. In summary, if you win, you get a year of supernatural protection or luck in return for a harrowing night of terror. If you lose or bail early, you get nothing, or worse, you might pay with your life if you make the wrong move. Account 1. Our storyteller begins by describing performing the summoning in his back garden, mostly out of skepticism. I did everything the ritual said. I honestly thought it was going to be fake. That's why I did it, he wrote. But when he whispered the phrase the 7th time, he heard a voice. Exactly as the ritual foretold. It was a soft, raspy male voice that seemed to emanate from right behind him in the darkness. The voice said,
"That's not your biggest problem."
I was terrified. I froze up for a second. Then the primal instincts kicked in and he sprinted into the house, slamming the door behind him. Inside he found the house in chaos, every cabinet and door hanging open. By now he knew the ritual was real, or at least believed it fully in the moment. And the fear of what might be in the house with him nearly made him turn and run out of the front door. But leaving mid-ritual wasn't an option he was willing to risk. So he forced himself to stick to the plan. He went to his small guest bedroom, his designated safe room, closed everything in it, and left his crucifix on the empty dresser. As he started the process of closing everything in the house, he recounted that the atmosphere was heavy, like the air itself was watching me. He tried humming to himself to break the silence. A nervous habit, but quickly stopped when he realised it was agitating his own nerves more. In the kitchen, while shutting every cabinet, he became aware of a figure standing just at the edge of his vision. It was the ashen-skinned man, observing quietly, as the legend describes. The poster noted that he never saw the figure head-on. He stayed in my peripherals like he was always at my side. I couldn't get a clear look. I didn't want to. At one point, out of the corner of his eye, he thought he saw the figure smile at him, as if amused by his frantic efforts. Remembering the ritual's warning, he kept his eyes down and continued closing things, heart pounding. The user did something clever before starting. He'd made a mental checklist of all the openables in his house. He went methodically room by room, ticking off every item in his head. He managed to close everything with a few minutes to spare, except, in his account, one thing almost tripped him up. In the stress of the moment, he nearly overlooked a small attic hatch in his ceiling that had swung open. It wasn't in his initial checklist. As he tells it, he was heading to his safe room when he felt a cold draft and realised the attic door above the hallway was ajar. The ashen referee figure was reportedly standing beneath the attic, as if deliberately drawing attention to it. Panicked, he dragged a chair over, climbed up to shove the attic hatch closed, and in doing so, accidentally caught a glimpse through a high window facing the backyard. Just for a split second, he saw the field behind his house. His description: I saw a shape out there, taller than any man, like a scarecrow come to life, with a skull head. It was just standing in the field. I don't know if it was looking at me. It had no eyes, but it knew I saw it. In that instant, dread flooded him. He slammed the attic door, jumped off the chair, and ran to the safe room as a new sound erupted. The distant slam of a screen door outside, then heavy footsteps thundering across his back porch. The man in the fields was coming. He locked himself in the safe room and literally threw himself against the door for good measure. Moments later, something collided with the door from the other side, shaking it violently. The next few hours became a personal hell for this individual. He wrote that the entity outside the door scratched and pounded relentlessly, and the voice, no longer a whisper, but a grotesque snarl, began speaking to him. It mocked him for being a coward, taunted him with sing-song threats.
I just want to show you what's in the field. Let me in.
At one point, the voice mimicked a woman's voice crying for help, as if trying to trick him into opening the door. He understood it was a ploy and never gave in, but he admitted the psychological torment was nearly unbearable. The crucifix in his hand was his only comfort. He clutched it and prayed under his breath while the thing outside went through cycles of rage and cajoling. At some point, sometime after 3 a.m., the noises stopped. The voice fell silent. He described an even more frightening scenario. The quiet. The silence was worse in a way. I kept thinking I'd hear breathing right behind me, that maybe it got in somehow and was in the room with me. It wasn't, thankfully, but he was so on edge that even though things had gone quiet, he did not dare emerge. He stayed barricaded against that door until the first rays of dawn peeped through the covered window. Only then, as light filled the safe room, did he finally unlock the door and creep out. The house was exactly as he left it post cleanup. All doors shut, no sign of forced entry. The back door, which he knew he had closed and locked, was standing wide open. Perhaps the entity departed at daybreak, leaving the door open on its way out. In the garden, there was nothing to be seen. No scarecrow, no man. Just an empty, quiet field. He had survived the night. Because he accidentally looked outside, he understood that he had lost the game. True to the ritual's promise, there was no reward waiting for him. Only trauma. He noted wryly that he had a string of bad luck in the weeks following, though who's to say if that was supernatural or just stress-induced error. He ended his post warning others not to underestimate this ritual, saying he initially thought it was fake, but now truly believes something malevolent answered his summons. His closing words, "I got away with my life, and that's it. Next time you want to be safe for a year, just buy a security system. Don't do this." Not everyone's story is one of abject terror. On a paranormal forum, I found a discussion where one member claimed to have tried the man in the field's ritual multiple times in an almost scientific spirit of inquiry. The person was a self-professed skeptic who believed the ritual was a psychological experiment rather than a true supernatural event. They were curious if the intense instructions could induce hallucinations, or if environmental factors, like being alone in the dark with a candle, would play tricks on your mind. Over a period of months, they attempted the ritual in different locations, at a friend's farmhouse, at an old family property, even at a disused building where they worked security. Each time, they followed the steps to the letter. Their findings were mixed, but intriguing. On attempt number 1 at the farmhouse, they heard nothing at the invitation stage, no whisper at all. They eventually gave up and called it a failure. On attempt 2, at a different site, they did hear something, a distant voice or sound after the 7th, "Who will scare the crows away?" They weren't sure if it said the phrase, or if it was just a noise carried by the wind. To be safe, they proceeded with the ritual. They noted that while closing everything, they never saw any ashen man or ghostly figure, but they admitted to feeling not alone. In one empty corridor, they felt a fleeting sensation that someone was walking behind them, but when they turned, of course, no one was there. They completed that run without incident, never seeing the scarecrow or needing the safe room. They didn't report any particular stroke of luck afterwards, but they also didn't suffer harm. What's fascinating is that this individual tried yet a third time, at which point something happened that made them quit for good. On the third go, they made a mistake. They lost track of time and hadn't finished closing everything by midnight. According to the rules, midnight is the cut-off. You lose if anything's still open. They said as the clock hit 12, they were standing in their living room in front of an open china cabinet. In that moment, they felt a presence directly behind them. They described it as that feeling when you suddenly know someone is inches from your back. The hair on their neck stood up. They froze, afraid to even turn their eyes sideways. It felt ice cold behind me, like a door open in winter, they wrote. I didn't see or hear him, but I knew he was there. In a surge of courage or panic, they dashed for the safe room, the first and only time they had to use it. As they fumbled with the lock, they heard a single heavy footstep from the living room, as if something large had just stepped onto creaking floorboards. That was enough. They locked themselves in and spent the night there wide awake, heart hammering. Nothing banged on the door, and no voice taunted them that night. In fact, it was eerily quiet after that single footstep. But the next morning, they found something that deeply unsettled them. The china cabinet they'd failed to close was tipped over, its glass doors shattered on the floor. No one else was home, and no natural explanation could account for it. The skeptic had no answers. They conceded that, at the very least, something strange had happened that they couldn't rationalise. They never attempted the ritual again. Their final post on the matter simply said, I set out to debunk it, and ended up not entirely debunking it. I don't know what I believe now. Just be careful.
I am a coach and an alum of Girls on the Run. Kids today carry a lot of stress, from school pressure to social isolation to overuse of devices. We create a space where girls can connect, build confidence, and learn skills like managing emotions, setting goals, and speaking up. Each child's experience is different, and families need support. I'm proud to be part of a comprehensive solution to youth mental health. Get involved today at empowerourfuturecoalition.com.
Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop, and honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee, so the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit Depop.com.
Now, the scarecrow thing, the man in the field, it's really scary, regardless. But I thought the guy who sort of watches and makes sure the game gets played properly was even creepier. I don't know if because of the way he's described, that he's kind of skeletal and greyish and just spooky, but having somebody walk, and you're not allowed to look at him, walk around watching to make sure that you, like an umpire basically, that you're doing it all right. I find that even scarier than the man in the field. I do love these rituals. I'm never going to be brave enough to try them. Never in a million years. Just in case. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again tomorrow for more 14 days of festive fear. Take care, everyone.
Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop, and honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee, so the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit depop.com.
I am a coach and an alum of Girls on the Run. Kids today carry a lot of stress, from school pressure to social isolation to overuse of devices. We create a space where girls can connect, build confidence, and learn skills like managing emotions, setting goals, and speaking up. Each child's experience is different, and families need support. I'm proud to be part of a comprehensive solution to youth mental health. Get involved today at EmpowerOurFutureCoalition.com.
Hi, it's Paige DeSorbo from Giggly Squad. You ever stand in front of your closet and just say, I have nothing to wear, while you're literally surrounded by clothes? Because same. So I started listing pieces I'm over on Depop, and honestly, it's been amazing. You can sell what you're done with, and someone out there will love it. And the best part about it is there's no seller fee, so the money you make actually stays in your pocket, which feels very chic. It's also insanely easy. I listed something while watching TV, and it sold before the episode even ended. So download the Depop app and list your first item today, because your old outfit could be someone else's new favorite. Depop, where taste recognizes taste. Payment processing fees, boosting fees still apply. For more info, visit depop.com.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.